Some of you may have noticed that I tend to have a book to read. I am an avid reader, constantly choosing between doing my homework and losing myself in a book. And if I'm being honest, the book wins more than it should. However, I, like many of you, am a broke college student. I do have a part-time job, but with a mile-long list of books that I have that I want to read, my paycheck doesn't last long. The smart thing for me to do would be to get a Kindle or a tablet of some sort. I would have all of my books, and they would be much cheaper. But that's not me, and many of you agree. In my questionnaire, I came right out and asked you printed versus digital, and many of you said printed. The reasons varied, but most of you said it was just because you liked it more and that it was easier for annotating, taking notes, and highlighting, and so on for class. These are some of the reasons that I give my dad all the time when he talks about getting me a Kindle. While I admire what technology can do for me, I am a physical person. I like being able to hold it, to turn the page, to flip back and forth to better understand the information, and especially when I'm reading for pleasure, to close the book and push it aside when I'm too shocked or freaking out or just overcome by what I've read. I do not believe that ebooks will one day be the only choice. Printed books have qualities that ebooks just won't be able to capture, such as their physicality in and of itself, the connections and memories that we make with them, and their reliability. There is just something about the simple physicality of a book. Besides, haven't you ever seen a cover of a book that just immediately caught your attention and you knew you just had to read it? I know it's cliche to say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but the covers are generally the first thing that we see. They are meant to grab our attention. Basically, books carry a physical beauty that just doesn't carry over digitally. Sure, you will see their covers, but there's an art to them. The designs, rather simple or complex, colored or black and white, are an art that is carefully chosen and designed to carry meaning to the story itself. I found an article titled, "Why Printed Books Will Never Die" by Josh Catone. He has been writing for various newspapers, magazines, and websites since 1998 about technology before joining the website Mashable. Their aim is to keep their 40 million monthly visitors and 19 million followers informed and up-to-date on all news digital and technological. People who need to possess the physical copy of a book and not merely an electronic version believe that objects themselves are sacred, he wrote. The he being author Joe Queenan, who argued such in a Wall Street Journal opinion piece and was quoted in this article. In other words, books have an attractiveness about them that make them special to us. Queenan then said, "Some people may find this attitude baffling, arguing that books are merely objects that take up space. This is true, but so are Prague and your kids and the Sistine Chapel." I chuckled at him comparing books to kids or even the Sistine Chapel, but I am very protective and wary of my books. They are not just objects to me. They are precious objects that demand care. Did you know that the medium chosen for books can affect our learning ability? In my research, I came across a study to answer just that question. At James Madison University, two psychology professors, Drs. David Daniel and Christina Jacobson, put forth such a study in the fall of 2013. The pair and their fellow students used eye-tracking technology. Small cameras were embedded to follow the movements of the students' eyes down the page. They tracked students who used printed copies along with those who used PDF versions online. Their results showed that textbooks going digital resulted in students skimming the page and not fully comprehending the information that they read. Also, it showed that they tended to skip many of the lines when it was digital and therefore missed a lot of information. Their study also found that learning digitally takes more effort and therefore more time than those who use printed copies. At Arizona State University, 9 staff members were asked to vote on whether universities should make a jump over to ebooks. 7 said no, that printed textbooks should stay. They claimed what many of you had answered in your questionnaire, that printed just makes it easier for studying. They claim that it is more engaging to mark up on the page, even though they know ebooks are better for the wallet and for the backpack. Along with this beauty, books can also hold memories for us, as we connect to their stories and characters. Have you ever just read a book and lost yourself within its pages, amongst the characters, plot twists, and emotional roller coaster it has to offer? I do this every time I read for pleasure, and I know that some of you do too, or at least I believe, since 12 out of 17 of you had answered yes to my very first question, do you enjoy reading? Books have a way of reminding us of good old times, In the article I first mentioned, Catone once again quotes Queenan. Books as physical objects matter to me because they invoke the past. A metro ticket falls out of a book I bought 40 years ago, and I am transported back to the Rue Saint-Jacques on September 12, 1972, where I am waiting for someone named Annie Lacombe. He continues on about a telephone message from a friend who died too young, and a note to self telling him to learn Spanish, which he has yet to do. My name is Uni B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. This is the beginning of any Uni B. Jones book that you pick up. Written by Barbara Park, I have been read these books and then read them myself for as long as I can remember. I still own all the books because I always think of sitting in my bed with a glass of chocolate milk in hand and my dad sitting next to me. And I came to recite these lines every time we started a new book. I will not get rid of them, and I plan on reading them to my children and probably to my grandchildren. Now, I said that I lose myself in a book, and it's true. I have had people come right up to me and tap me on the shoulder or say something, and I nearly jump out of my seat because I didn't realize they were there. One of you had actually answered that finishing a book is the best accomplishment, but it makes me sad, like I'm leaving behind friends that I've made. But I can always go back and visit them. To the question about any memories that any of you had had. When I read that, I thought, you understand. I found an online newspaper article from USA Today entitled "Ebook sales are up 43%, but that's still a slowdown." It states that while sales for ebooks are increasing, printed books are still ahead. Published May 16, 2013, the article states some findings of the annual BookStats study done by the Association of American Publishers and the Book Industry Study Group. They said that 457 million ebooks were sold in the year before in 2012. However, that was still quite less than the 557 million hardcovers that were sold that year as well. Their paperback numbers were unfinished. Now that we have come to think of our books as time capsules, let's see how reliable they can be. Printed books are more dependable than ebooks. We all know how easy it is to get distracted while on our computers or anything with internet. We start off doing our work, taking a quiz, researching, or writing a speech. Then Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, BuzzFeed, and so on magically appear in their own tabs, and before we know it, time has flown by. While moving to digital versions may be great for the bank, they may not be the right choice for students, even in an ever-growing digital world. We have all heard about the dangers of staring at a screen for too long. Procon.org, a non-profit organization that brings together research well-sourced and cited on any controversial topic you could probably think of. An article called "Should Tablets Replace Textbooks in K-12 Schools?" had several arguments for and against it. Their very first con argument being about the health problems that staring at a screen all day can cause. They talked about how handhelds in particular can cause computer vision syndrome. They can bring about strain on the eyes, blurry vision, and even headaches. It can also dry out your eyes, and as a person who wears contacts, I must agree. Besides, like I said earlier, there are so many distractions. Another one of the con arguments was about how easily students can become distracted while in class. Instead of paying attention to the teacher, they can be checking their email on websites like Facebook and playing games on apps. No dry eyes, no distractions. Now I can get a lot read like that. From their dependence to better help us learn as students, the memories that they bring back, and their simple physicality, these are just some of the qualities of books that ebooks just won't be able to capture. Face it, printed books are going to still be around for quite a while and won't be so easily kicked to the side. They have just too much to offer that cannot be simply converted to a digital format, and I will not be so easily convinced otherwise. As a world-renowned author, Ernest Hemingway said, "There is no friend as loyal as a book."